This is Scott from My Life's Reward. I'm going to take the June 2020 ATV Overland video for the Western UP, day number 1, and narrate it. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Mackinaw Bridge in Michigan, going between the Lower Peninsula and the Upper Peninsulas. This is a trip here we're doing to the UP on the western side, going to Iron River, dragging our ATVs behind us. It's always a nice sight to see the Mackinaw Bridge for me. I really like this area, and it's just a magnificent piece of engineering. I'm just always in awe every time I go across it or see it. So we're doing about just under a 500-mile overland. If you look at these pictures here, you see these clouds of mayflies on the lower parts there. They're just all over the place, hitting the windshield. But that's the UP right there, and we're going across the lower part of the UP in Lake Michigan there, traveling west. And here we're starting to hit the trails after getting our ATVs all set up, and this is the first part of the trail for our trip. So I want to thank you for visiting the channel, and if you do like what you see here, please consider subscribing, hitting that alarm bell, and then you'll see when I have additional videos posted here, which I try to do every Friday. So thank you, enjoy, and see you next week with part 2 of a 5-part series. This is the South Branch of the Paint River here, and over the past few miles we crossed the Iron River and some of its branches several times. It is good to be back looking at this video and reminiscing about this trip. I have been looking forward to adding the narration. This video series has been popular, and it's the most popular on this channel, with part number 1, the one that you're watching, being the most viewed video on this channel. Well, let's get back to narration. Leaving the Iron River, we were on the SL-ORV route, which is a 12-foot dirt natural grade trail, and it goes northwest direction. And then we left the SL route and switched to the OC route, which you're seeing here. And this is Winslow Lake, which has a small dam, and then what leaves it is Winslow Creek. And coming up from behind here is Jim first in his side-by-side and Kyle with the quad. Now we're going to head to Lake St. Kathryn, where we had some time to grab a snack. We happened to have a smoked whitefish, and that's what we ate. This right here is the East Branch of the Ontonagon River and what was Lower Dam Lake. Now the gates have been removed here, and I think they're just big, thick slots of wood that have been taken out. What you're looking at right here would have normally been a lake. I'm going to show some pictures here in a minute or two. that shows you what that looks like. We walked out here, took a look. That's why I think those boards slide in, or those metal slots there. This is just fascinating to me, how you can dam up a river and change the entire landscape of an area. Which just in a minute or so you'll see what I'm talking about. Just amazing.
They just removed the gates, huh? Maybe the dam's not viable anymore.
And Kyle's taking a photo of Gemini, and you'll see that picture here in just a second. And there's that photo. Again, you can see where the boards go in and how high that water can be. And here's down at the lower part, we have the lake, and there's what it used to look like. Pretty slick. M28, the trail system changed from OC to SB and OC west to east. Then as we traveled north, it changed back to the OC. We came in on Depot Road, where there was a gas station available in Mass City. We continued traveling down Depot Road until it dead-ended and then turned right on Ridge Avenue. Shortly before the end of Ridge Avenue, there's a left turn that is the BNORV route, but mixes with the Snowmobile Trail Snow UP 12. We turn left onto this route, and just about a quarter of a mile down the road, down this route, there's a gate, and hopefully it's open. Take the turn. You won't regret it. At this point, we are already through this gate, as you can see in the video. Follow the path up in the elevation, and the bluffs will treat you to a stunning view of Mass City and an expansive southern view of the UP. We're continuing to work our way up to the bluffs here. It's a little muddy in some places. There's some water holes, at least during the time that we were here in June of last year. But it's not bad. So just take your time working your way through this. And then here, continue straight. Don't take that right there. And before you know it, you'll be right up on top.
You doing it?
Does it go over the top?
There's a drop off.
I want to know what's on the other side of the hill.
It's flat. It's okay. Hey. Remember, I told you that water hole was okay too.
I'm going to check.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No.
No one dies. No one dies.
So Kyle just went up the last part of the elevation, and he is now, there actually is one more elevation beyond that, but you gotta really walk that. And he's on what we call, or what's called, the Bluffs.
You gonna bring yours up here? Or what?
And the view is just magnificent here. Here you're looking down at Mass City. I would say that the view from this point looking towards the horizon is, it's got to be a long distance. My guess was 20 miles, but I don't know. Anyways, that's Mass City. And there are at least two more points here going up this trail that there are a little bit higher elevation views. It turns out there was another level that you could drive up here, and then there was even a higher level that maybe you could drive up. You could at least walk up. So other opportunities for views here. I continued driving down following the path of the trail. And this here does lead into a little bit of a mud hole, and we struggled with that just a little bit. Not bad though. did all right getting past this mud area, and I didn't realize it after I went through here. I kept going, not thinking the others were going to have as much trouble as they did. And I got down here a little farther. We have radios on our helmets. So at some point here very soon, Kyle, my son, who's on the other quad, radioed me and let me know that Jim was having some trouble. Jim is in the side-by-side. It's always fun to watch Jim in some of his predicaments.
That's what I did.
I enjoy seeing the challenges that he makes for himself, and he has fun with it. He has a lot of fun. He's going to get out of this okay. He's going to back up, and then as soon as he can get a little bit more room there with Kyle, he's going to back up. I'm there. I know I'm in the way. I'm just trying to get some good footage for the camera. So then the typical Jim guns it, goes for it. Could have went a little bit south there if he would have fell off the edge. Of course, I'm in the way. He wanted to keep going, but it all worked out.
Live action. What are you doing, Kyle? You going along that edge?
So after this side-by-side gets through, then Kyle gives it a try and kind of runs into some trouble as well. But he makes quick work out of this, so.
Because you're going to bottom out in the center. You're going to get stuck. You can try it, you're just going to get stuck.
He makes it look easy. Again, I'm in the way. So then we finish our descent down from the bluffs on this trail. And pretty soon you're going to see the gate that we go through, so you can kind of get a visual of that and know what to look for. I ended up including a lot of this footage just because it was really the muddiest part of the day one trip, so I thought that was maybe more interesting for people to watch rather than just the gravel roads. So check this out here. This is that gate that I mentioned. I'm going through it right now. We would have all came from the right here on this road. And we ended up eventually, we did go back to Mass City to take a look at the bluffs from there. But ultimately, we would have turned left coming out of that gated area so we could continue down the route. And then shortly after that, there was a route that would have went right. We ended up going straight because we were interested in going up to Ontonagon. So after enjoying the view, we traveled back down and continued the route northwest. Here we got a bit confused until we found Plank Road to Ontonagon and Greenland Road. And off to the left or south, we found the Snow UP13 trail that took us mostly south. Now this trail is not for the faint of heart. It has long grass that was infested with ticks and lots of wet grassy areas and mud. After crossing the Flyntsteel River, still in the grassy and muddy trail system, we jumped on Caledonia Road, taking us to the southwest, rock and gravel, nice and wide, that continues to be the Snow UP13 trail. Where we're parked here is a bridge over the Flyntsteel River, and the trail going to this bridge and the trail going out of this bridge is that long grassy area that I explained earlier. We're just taking a break, enjoying the view, kind of thinking about what we just went through. This big water area and marsh off to the right is just outside of Rockland, Michigan. And we weren't sure we were able to get through this, but it didn't end up being that deep. So we just take our time and work our way through this deep area. A lot of times I just put my feet up on the front of the quad and just kind of, well, you can kind of see my feet up there. Just trying to stay dry there. Then you can kind of get a different point of view. I'm out front there ahead of the side-by-side there that Jim's driving. After riding on the Snow UP 137 trail, going northwest, and it's a very wide, graveled railroad bed, we end up in Ontonagon, and we're working our way to the bridge to go over the Ontonagon River, which is just short of the mouth of the river, and our lodging is on the other side of the river off to the right. A little ways down. Driving on these M roads makes us a little nervous. We don't seem to know whether or not it's frowned upon or if it's supported by the local community and the police. In Ontonagon, we crossed the mouth of the Ontonagon River and worked our way to our lodging accommodations. After we washed up our rides and enjoyed a nice dinner, we slept well that night. The original narration is going to come up here in just a few seconds. Stay tuned for an overall trail assessment for day one. And thank you. We are approaching our lodge for the evening. This will end the first day of our Overland and part one of our 5-part video series. So tune in next week for part 2. And thank you for watching. And until next week, take care. Overall trail assessment for day 1. All the trails were great. You know, when you have the gravel and the dirt grades, they're all good. They weren't terribly dusty. The mud area of Mass City with the Bluffs, you know, of course that that got our rides a little dirty, but the trade-off was the view was just well worth it. The grassy area on the Snowmobile trail, that was a bit difficult. I enjoyed it. It's not for everyone. You have to be mindful of the ticks, and you're going to get potentially wet, and things are going to get dirty. The trail, as we left that grassy trail system and started getting closer to Ontonagon, the trails other than a few wet areas around Rockland, Michigan. They were nice. They were good trails. And then especially when you went onto the railroad grade, it was just really no problems, no issues at all. Day 1, the trail system overall, strongly recommended. 5 stars, just fun, fun, fun. And as the days progressed and as you'll hear in the other videos, it just got better and better. That completes the narration for part 1. Next week, come check us out for part 2. And that one will be narrated as well, along with all the other parts, all the way to part 5. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care, and thank you.